Hello and welcome to Sim Radio here on the Sisters in Music Network. It's Monday Music Madness and you're tuned in to Mixing It with Nicki Kris. This is Nicki, and in case you don't know anything about me, I'm a singer-songwriter from Raleigh, North Carolina. My show celebrates women in the music and entertainment industry, providing an avenue for them to showcase their talents. Our motto, Sisters in Music, together we are stronger. My guest today is a writer, singer, dancer, drummer, model, and actress based in Paris, France. A former teacher turned yoga speaker, she decided to focus on her music after the first quarantine in 2020. Her French single, Je rêve de toi, I Dream of You, received recognition this year at the Red Carpet event in the Netherlands in the Best Pop category. The new remix version by Cali rapper Excerpt Beats gives a perfect American chill to the vibes, full of love and peace. For the last couple of years, my guest has been the muse of her official photographer, Lion Scott, a pioneer dancer in the French hip-hop movement. Please join me in welcoming the fabulous Daphne Kaufman, known as Daffie Doc. Daphne,
hi.
Welcome. How are you?
Thank you so much, Nicki. I'm very proud to be here with you.
Well, I'm very proud to have you on the show, and I'm excited to share you with everyone, and we are going to get started right away. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, how would you describe your music for our listeners?
Well, I would say it's hip-hop, but some say it's not hip-hop. It's about all my travels and the different cultures I was brought up with. So I mix cultures and I mix languages, but I must say that I don't like choosing, so I do what I want really. I keep opportunities open with my manager, of course, and I fall in love with one beat, or with one track by a producer, and then I just want to write on it. It's very difficult for me, to give myself a category because some people may think that my music is R&B. Some other people might think it's pop. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you still enjoy something that is out there.
I completely agree. And who would you say then are some of your musical influences, since you don't want to pigeonhole yourself, if you will, into one specific category? So who are some of your main musical influences?
True. Well, the first that pops in my mind as very often is Michael Jackson, because he was talented in different areas, singing, dancing, writing, acting. And so since I was a kid, I've been relating to these vibes. I've been looking up. There is something absolutely legendary about his lifetime work. So, I feel like that would be my number one inspiration.
Anyone else?
And then, I grew up a lot on jazz, blues, even rock music, but anything that comes from African rhythms, really, it's in my blood, so anything that comes from, jazz, blues, soul, but I don't have
Excellent.
another name,
well,
sorry.
No, that's completely fine. No worries.
Too many to mention,
Yes, I can certainly relate. But Michael Jackson is a very, very good primary influence to have. So that's absolutely wonderful. And what would you say is it like to be a successful woman in a global industry? I mean, you're successful. You have a manager. You're building your brand. What's it like?
Well, it's a lot of hustling, like everybody who knows that what it takes to run a business, really, because people see the good, fun side of things when you're an artist, but I don't think they know, how much work, the passion you have for music. It feels like your life depends on it. So everything I do, everything I strive for is towards my music. But as you said, I also have different activities. Because for the last years, I also had my own radio shows about wellness and holistic health. I am also an author who is published for my yoga work, and I've been promoting different products, my music, my books, my box of cards, and it's fantastic to feel that the public, that the audience is very positive about my work. That's the best reward. But yes, honestly, it's been very, very intense for the last years. And I'm very honored that you and I can speak on a show that are dedicated to women, because I feel that we have a role to play to show the youngsters, that their talents can be recognized and that their dreams can become true. And it's quite important for me to highlight this because I was a former teacher in schools everywhere around the world, and the common thing I could see was that girls have a lack of confidence in general, and I really would like that to change.
That's actually interesting that you bring that up, because I agree. I do think in many instances that there's actually a lack, I think, of very good role models for young women these days, especially in the music industry. I think that there's some of the artists that are out there today, I don't know, call me old-fashioned, if you will, but it's more about what they look like rather than about the music, which is
true. Mm-hmm.
Which is a little sad, if you will.
Mm.
So, but I like that. I like that you want to be a role model to young women, and that's what Sisters in Music and our podcasts and all the things that we do are all about. We are trying to empower women, both young and old, and show them that collectively our sisterhood can uplift each other and provide solace for everyone. So that's awesome. Great.
Absolutely. I really love it. We need to do this more and more to show our support amongst women. Yeah, that's right. And and I think in America, you guys are quite good at doing this, and I really would like my country, France, to be better at this, to show support and not competition. And we need to feel reassured that we all have something to bring to the world.
I would challenge that in the U.S. I think we're good, because I think there are instances where sometimes we're our own worst enemy. I have seen that, and it more recently than anything. So I'll challenge we'll make it a global statement, is that I think we all need to do a little bit better.
I like how I think the whole COVID situation 2020, it brought some different ideas. We got creative. So I think that it's up to us to keep flourishing. I didn't even think that I would be a role model when I chose to focus on my music. I was aware of being a role model when I was a school teacher, for example, but with my music, I really needed to say and to do anything I wanted to, and I don't want necessarily to educate, even though I think that it's very important to give education a central role, because as you said earlier, the social media nowadays, it brings something very shallow.
Yep, no, that I completely get it. All right, let's switch gears a bit and let's play one of the songs that you brought with you. So let's talk about, and hopefully my French it doesn't sound, I think I said it correctly, but Je rêve de toi, I dream of you. What is this song about? Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I Dream of You. It's supposed to be a song for someone that you love. It is just romantic. I wanted to show, in my music video, I wanted to show how Paris is still a very romantic city.
I have listened to it multiple times, and I would certainly agree. And we are going to play it for everyone. So here it is. This is Je rêve de toi by Daffie.
Je rêve de toi, encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi, encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Pour toi, toi et moi, on s'envole là-bas, donne-moi. Encore une fois, je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de vous, je rêve de nous. Un petit bisou posé dans le cou. En voulez-vous? Oui, plus que tout. À tous les coups, c'est si doux. Pour toi, toi et moi, on s'envole là-bas. Donne-moi. Encore une fois, je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Pour toi, toi et moi, on s'en va là-bas. Donne-moi. Donne-moi, donne-moi. Encore une fois, je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes bras, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi, de toi, toi.
It's a wonderful song. Like I said, I've listened to it several times because you sent me a copy, and it is a very romantic song. it's a wonderful song. So I'm really happy to share it with everyone. And congratulations. Very well done.
Thank you very much, Nicki. I was very happy to win an award this year, as you said earlier, in the Netherlands for this track. And I guess I would like to bring more love vibes in this world.
Excellent. I love that. Now, I'm going to ask you a question because it's interesting. Your stage name is Daffie Duck. How did you come up with that? And I think it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful artist name.
Well, what is your guess? Or what are your guesses?
Well, I mean, Daphne, so, Daffie, maybe.
Yeah.
But the doc is throwing me unless it has something to do with have a doctorate in something.
I don't. It's because so I was living in the south of France during the first confinement, and I decided to leave Paris, and the only boots I had was my pair of Doc Martens, and they are pink, and I still have them. And I Doc Martens because I liked wearing them when I was a teenager, these boots. So that was the main reason. And then it was like, in the rap game, there are like Dr. Dre, or in France we have a guy called Doc Gynéco, or the Doc thing is kind of a rap name, don't you think so?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Now that you're referencing, Dr. Dre, that makes sense.
And even though I knew I wouldn't be, the best rapper in the world, and I am more of a singer than a rapper, I thought it was funny to do that as a female, to add the doc part as a female, because, I have guys' names popping in my mind, but I don't have a female example. Do you know any?
For rappers, well, Nicki Minaj, but I mean that's the only female. Well, I mean there's Salt and Pepper.
Oh, I loved them. I loved their style, the clothes, their earrings. Oh yes, earlier we talked about role models. When I was a kid in France, there was no exposure of colored people in the media, on TV or music, and so I didn't really grow up with an idea, with an influence.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, now there's a lot more to choose from, but I mean, I know I grew up listening to Salt and Pepper, so I'm very familiar with the two of them.
Oh, yeah. And my mother tongue is French. So the first albums I discovered, or the first songs I discovered by myself, it was the Fugees, Snoop Doggy Dogg, and Salt and Pepper. It was Let's Talk About Sex, and that is still taboo, even though we said earlier that the females' bodies are often maybe too exposed, but the fact of talking about sex or love, or I feel that these topics, when they're taken seriously, they're still taboo nowadays.
Yeah, they are. They are. And I don't know how we can rectify that, but maybe we just keep talking about them. We keep talking about them, and eventually they'll just be commonplace. So, all right. Well, let's switch a little bit more, because I know one of the topics that I would like to get to is we talked about you're a woman in the global business and building your brand. It's hard being a woman in this business, and we all face obstacles, have you ever come up against some of these, sexist and or maybe perhaps even racist remarks or attacks? I mean, have you ever had that experience?
Well, I would say in the music industry, sexism, sure. Other areas as well, I mean, whether it's a work situation or I think we're still in development in my country. And it's still global. I guess the issue is still global, right?
Yes, it is. It is. I mean, there's definitely, and I recently started talking about this a little bit in a recent article that I was interviewed for. There's definitely sexism against women. There's definitely racism in the music industry. And there's definitely ageism. As I have noticed that the industry, once you hit a certain age specifically, and I guess you could correlate all of that with, sexism and all of the other isms, if you will. But it's almost as if the industry says, I don't even want to see you or hear from you anymore.
Yeah, I understand completely.
And it's a shame because I always sit there and say, well, y'all are missing out of a huge market because women specifically, and even older men, right? Let's just encompass everything. Older women or women, maybe even in their 30s and 40s, they don't want to listen to 15-year-old artists. They want to listen to artists that they can relate to.
Sure.
And, I don't understand why the industry puts a limit. Music is music. It shouldn't matter how old you are. It shouldn't matter what you look like. It shouldn't matter, what gender you are. It should matter about the message of the song and the message of the artistic creation, in my opinion. But
I strongly agree with you. And for me, it was like a double punishment to be a woman and to have different cultural backgrounds. It felt a lot more difficult, and so that's why I'm extremely happy to be able to connect with other people like you who can give a voice to people like me.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. And with that, what type of message do you want to give to younger females?
Well, I really would like them to trust their guts and to work towards what they want to do, and even if the project is going to change, it's okay, but keep being determined and do what you want, what you like, what you feel gifted for.
Because, I love that. That's wonderful advice.
Because, when I was a teacher, I could see, or even in families, I have this feeling and impression that a lot of attention is given to boys. And girls, they are independent quickly. They have to be independent quickly. Yeah, and it's been decades like this and maybe centuries. So, I want to say keep fighting. And if one day you meet a person who is going to share your life and your talents, it's wonderful. But first go for what you want and dream big, because anything you want can be done. You just need to work for it.
Wonderful, wonderful advice. And a perfect place for us to take a short break from a word from one of our partners in podcasting. This is my buddy Tim from Front Range Radio. We'll be right back on Mixing It with Nicki Kris here on the Sim Radio.
Front Range Radio, playing a variety of indie music, a 24/7 music festival for your ears. You can find Front Range Radio at frontrangeradio.net.
And we're back on Mixing It with Nicki Kris on the Sim Radio Network. And my wonderful guest calling in all the way from lovely, beautiful Paris, France, Daffie Doc. Before we get to the next song that you brought with you, what do you enjoy most about being an artist?
It's a tough question, but I think what I enjoy the most is this inner child feeling. Because when I was a kid, I loved going on stage. I loved costumes. You know, I did a lot of drama and ballet. And I can't live without it, you know. The whole thing about dressing up and the makeup and create, the whole thing makes me feel like a child, and I like this feeling actually. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I agree with you as well. I mean, it makes you feel vibrant and alive, if you will, just like you did when you were younger. So I can certainly relate to that.
I really loved the adjectives you use, vibrant and alive. It's exactly how music makes me feel. Mm-hmm. It's like my best friend. You know, anywhere you go, you can have music with you.
That's completely true. Music is the friend that you always bring along with you. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And if you can listen to music, you can sing. And if you can't sing, you can clap in your hands. Honestly, it's been a way of surviving for me.
That makes total sense. That does make total sense. I mean, it's the one thing that you can always bring with you. And, you know, music being such a part of our lives, right, as writers and artists or top liners, right? I mean, it is. It's just like part of you, and you bring it with you wherever you go.
Yeah, it's like your most powerful therapist. 'Cause, you know, selfishly, when I make my own music, you know, I don't think about, this is going to reach this person, or maybe it's going to reach a lot of people. No, I don't know, but I feel very honored that I can express myself, and that some people are going to take a few minutes of their time to listen.
I like that. Excellent. So tell us about some of your upcoming projects.
Sure. Actually, recently, a French single called Bébé à mort, which is another love song, was just released. And there will be an English version of it coming as well in a few weeks, so you need to stay tuned. And this track is actually by a young Frenchie, 808. So I'm extremely happy to be able to work with such talented people. I also work with mastering engineers who won some awards as well. So I keep writing, and I keep going to studios, and yeah, I'm completely excited about all the new collaborations coming up.
I'm excited as well. I can't wait to hear some of these new things. And we're actually going to play another one of your songs. So tell us about Misunderstood.
Sure. So this track was produced, the music was done by DJ Scrozy from Italy. And I met him after the first confinement in Paris, and we've remained friends. And I actually wrote the song during other confinements, because I don't know about you, Nicki, but in France, you know, after the first confinement, we had like several confinements and curfews.
Mhm. Yeah.
So all the projects were delayed, you know. Yeah, it represents my mood in the confinements in Paris.
Well, we're going to play this for everyone. This is called Misunderstood by Daffie Doc.
I'm in Paris, lemonade, best in bliss. No air, still embracing the streets. Ready for the slice of solstice. Honey bee, be good. Let me be misunderstood. Honey bee, be good. Let me be misunderstood. Let's enjoy the ride, getting rid of all shits. I promise that I got the basics. Just building up a new brick. Got the time for treats, but no tricks. Honey, baby, be good. Let me be misunderstood. Honey, be good. Let me be misunderstood. No need to use any majestic. We'll lift it up cause we're majesty. I might give you a full notice to please my tits. Ease our minds of misfits. Honey, be good. Let me be misunderstood. Honey, be good. Let me be misunderstood. Don't give a fuck to dirty old pricks. Bring in some luck in this world full of piss. Setting, you're asking for any tips. Just think of me as a cool missus. Honey, be good. Let me be misunderstood. Honey, be good. Let me be misunderstood. Honey, let me be misunderstood. Understood.
Another fabulous song, and what I really, really love about this is it's different than the first song that you brought with you, which is great because it shows your versatility, and I love that. I absolutely love the versatility, and I'm sure that a lot of the projects that you're working on are also going to show some of the versatility that you have as well. And like we had mentioned before, you don't like to put yourself in a specific category, and I think that's great. I don't think you should. And I'm the same way. I don't like being put in a specific category either. So I love that. I love it.
I feel great. I feel great about your support, Nicki, because as you said, it can be reassuring for people to tag your music, but I refused, to be put in one box. And if I am put in a box, it's okay. It doesn't really matter. But I really appreciate the fact that you think it's a positive aspect of things to be able to be versatile.
Oh, I absolutely do. Absolutely do. I mean, I think it's very important to be able to be flexible, and if you want to do hip hop for one song and then you want to go into a more pop EDM direction for your next song, why not? Why do you have to be limited, right? Why can't you just go with what your heart says that you need to do at that given point in time? I mean, I'm doing the same thing. I'm coming out with going to be working on an album that's completely different than anything that I've ever done before. And my philosophy is, well, why not? Why do I have to stay in the swim lane? I want to color outside the lines.
Yeah, and you can meet different people this way, and
you meet different people, you work with different people, you collaborate with different individuals when you do things like that, right? Which also then enhances creativity and all of that. So I think it's fantastic. I love it. Absolutely love it.
I just do what I love. Yeah. If I want to swear, I'm gonna swear, and if I want to be romantic, I'm gonna be romantic, and if I want to be rock and roll, I'm gonna be rock and roll.
I love it. Wonderful.
Thanks.
Anything else that you would like to share with our listeners before we sign off?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for your warm welcome. Thank you for following me. You can find my music on your favorite platforms such as Apple Music, Deezer, Spotify, YouTube. And if you want to follow me on your social media, it would be very nice. So you can follow my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm also on Twitter.
Excellent. And you're also on Twitter. Great. And we have some of those on the description of our interview. So y'all go and follow Daphne. I do. I love the Daffie doc. I think it is absolutely a brilliant name. It's very, very catchy. So I like Daphne too.
Thank you so much, Nicki, for your time and your kindness.
You're welcome. My sweet pleasure. And everyone, thank you again for joining us. And Daffie, thank you for joining me and taking the time to chat. I know it's late where you are, but it has really been a pleasure. I'm glad we've gotten to be able to share you and your music. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Mixing It. And on behalf of all of us here at Sim Radio, this is Nicki Kris. Until next time, keep on mixing.